I'm asked by young luthiers, emerging luthiers, all the time, what's it take? How do you get from where I am to where you're going? How do you get there? Basically, a person's life is too precious to waste on anything but the very best. Okay? I mean, if you think about it, we just don't have time to create junk. So if you're going to invest your life, you want to work on first learning everything you can, use the very best materials you can get your hands on to assure whatever success from your learning curve is evident, and then really work hard at it. Don't stop learning, don't stop practicing, don't stop, whether it's playing or any part of it. The byproduct of this plant, I'm absolutely convinced, are the best guitars in volume that have ever been produced by Gibson before. We build every bit of quality with every piece of wood that we can get our hands on. We try and be good stewards of the volume of the materials that we get. Guitar playing's only been around for a short period of time in the history of the world, and we're really hip to the size of the world shrinking and the materials available. We're conscious about the environment, and that's certainly Henry's real heavy agenda. But we try and use whatever we get as responsibly as we can, knowing that, and we make a joke out of it, that wood doesn't grow on trees, but it doesn't grow in our lifetime. And the wood that we're being the stewards of right now is wood that is hundreds and hundreds of years old and will never have the same growth opportunity that it did, when it began.
We're here at Gibson, Montana, and we're at the resaw department, or what we used to call rough mill. Here on the decking you can see different types of wood that are in rotation waiting to be used. These woods are secured from all over the world in contracts with vendors who cut on site as close to a finished dimension as possible for all the woods that we use to give us additional cure time in the process, so that we can better depend on this wood as usable in every shape and size. We use a kiln over here. The kiln is an EBAC type, which is a dehumidification kiln, and wood is processed through this at a very slow and gentle rate to bring it down to the minimum moisture content that we like to start with when we normalize wood here in the factory. Much of this wood will be held on these shelves for a minimum of 1 year, and in some cases, fingerboards and bridge blanks, they could be here for 2 or 3 years actually in this building. This building is supported by another building on the premises, which houses additional bundles of wood that have not been stickered yet. The process is the vendor ships to us, and then in rotation we sticker or give airspace between them. We bring them to this portion of the plant where they're allowed to cure and normalize. We're here in the grading department where we're matching backs to sides or sides to backs on custom ordered guitars that are going through the factory. This to ensure that we have the consistency of color and figure throughout the instrument, as well as the tone and capacity of each guitar. Here in the finish mill, we're putting guitar tops together. First the tops are joined and glued in this press. Then they're sanded by this thickness sander or drum sander down to the given tolerance for our guitars appropriate for the model. And then Jeff goes through and selects the stiffness and grades them, whether they'll be a large guitar, medium-sized guitar, or small. Then he applies the rosette to the center of the guitar. They're final sanded again, and then they move forward into the line to become a guitar. Behind me, the operation is where we are proprietary in our brace manufacturing, and they're made from a billet a 2¼ inch wide by 18 inch long, 3/4 of an inch thick piece of Sitka spruce. Each one of them produces anywhere from 2 to 4 braces in 3 passes. Here you see us grading and gluing necks together. We're matching figure on the neck so that we can pull out a billet of wood that'll produce 2 neck blanks. And we'll see how that's done in the future. Right here we're matching color and grade and the amount of figure as best we can so that we can yield 2 necks from this process. In this case, these necks will have a walnut stringer glued down the center, and this will become a J100, 150, or J200 neck. We're using a glue applicator here to distribute glue as rapidly and evenly as possible. The open time of the glue should be minimized to the atmosphere so that we get good contact. The stringer is placed in the center. The second piece then, which is cued to be in the right order, is matched to it. We put a clamp on either end so that they don't shift under the clamping procedure, and it's set into the press. Air pressure is exerted on inflatable tires, and the guitar neck is left for a few hours to cure. Clamp time is much less at manufactured recommendation on the glue itself, but we have plenty of time, so we leave them. We like lots and lots of time on glue joints. This is the neck compartment, and we're bandsawing out the final cut before it goes to the machine operation of a neck that's had the minimum cure time on the shelf after the initial lamination. Each neck goes through a series of drying operations before the milling actually begins. This guitar neck will be put into production today. This is the beginning of our neckline. This is where the milling operations begin, and the accuracy of our neck construction is assured by the location of the flat that's being put on the back of this neck, and then the additional location holes that you'll see drilled into the side of this by the CNC. This is the luthier spren. This machine, a Fadal, changes its own bits and has the capacity to ensure accuracy every single time. It's repeatable within thousandths of an inch. Nobody can get hurt on it. My favorite tool here.